We last visited the revered corridors of Grace Sloan Memorial almost a year ago. Teddy was comatose on the operating room floor, love was in the air, and 5 surgical interns leaned into the pandemonium that Grey's Anatomy frequently exposes to aspiring medical professionals. Not to mention the incident involving the DNR Millen is left feeling torn between liking and hating Quan after Quan fully disregards her elderly neighbor's medical request and saves her life. Not to mention that 2 interns in this room, who lacked the necessary skills to save Sam's life, killed him after he spent decades serving in the Air Force and leading an adrenaline junkie lifestyle. Nick uses a firm cease and desist to end the argument. The attracted doctor tells the interns to remain where they are after taking a page and running his fingers through his magnificent hair. Until he returns with a decision that might potentially ruin the entire program, they're not allowed to leave, speak, or perform medicine. There's a lot going on in the ICU. Teddy, who has somehow suffered a toothache that led to a cardiac event, is surrounded by support from everyone. Therefore, ABC, please assist me. If you can make this woman look like she has a cavity, I will cancel this show before you can say pick me, choose me, love me. Luckily, Anthony Hill's Winston is there to turn things around. He is more than capable of making this dental ordeal into a success. Never inquire about the specifics of this peculiar plot. Winston understands. As the new chief of cardio, he possesses sufficient courage to eject Owen and Amelia from his OR, allowing him and Schmidt to commence their work. Winston sends the Yasuda a page telling her to report to the OR, and she answers without any trouble at all. This starts a series of events that culminate in Adams running out of the building to get some fresh air and Millen leaving to check on Maxine. Griffith follows Adams outside to talk about what happened the previous evening, despite her desire to obey the rules and stay inside. No, their temporary honeymoon in the on-call room is not happening. Take your mind off the internet. Griffith needs them to clarify who broke all the rules and let Air Force Sam in to save his life, or end it, when there were no attendings present. Adams is about to respond when an ambulance driver calls for assistance with a patient. Adams enters the truck as Griffith tries to clarify that they aren't legally permitted to assist. All Griffith can do is go with the flow, since she adores him, and she's in a professional competition with him. In order for them to become imprisoned together, we also need them both in the ambulance's back. I'm quite pleased of the showrunners for including a driverless automobile in the episode after 20 seasons of absurd scenarios. Of course, it barrels down the hospital driveway and hits the ambulance head-on. The man in the backseat is really perplexed and open to experimenting with the reason why Wayne's kill switch doesn't function, because he is beta testing this prototype car, which he has given the loving nickname Wayne. According to this, Wayne is crashing into the back of the ambulance every 30 seconds. Fortunately, Bailey and Meredith are back from their vacation to Boston and are sufficiently patient and enthusiastic to help their interns get through this particular scenario. Meredith tells Griffith and Adams to find a scalpel and remain calm in between accidents. The man in the ambulance's back is obviously bleeding internally, and Adams' last chance to save his life is to cut him open, while Griffith sticks her hand into the man's stomach and uses her fingers to stop the bleeding. How come? It's not as like she's carrying a bomb or anything. A few minutes later, Juan shows in and makes use of that sharp mind of his. He grabs what appears to be a screwdriver and punctures the car's wheels. It was only after he did that it occurred to me. In order to save the liverman and the guy who is seriously injured in the back of the automobile, Meredith and Bailey extend an invitation to everyone to the operating room. Though Meredith is aware that Nick will be furious, how else are these jokers going to learn until they are stuck up in another man's stomach? There are more people going to the OR than just Meredith and Bailey. Teddy has a blood clot someplace, since she has lost sensation in her feet. Winston assures Owen that he is prepared while maintaining his composure. Winston fires Yasuda from his team after hearing her chant, "Please don't die." That bad luck is not necessary for him in his OR. By the end of the episode, Teddy has lived and even awakened, but none of this is due to Yasuda. In fact, she asks Joe, whom she encounters in the corridor, where she has been. When Air Force Sam was near death, why didn't she respond to her page? We know that Joe was starting to feel something for Link when she missed that page, which makes it unpleasant for us. To make room for Jink, one man had to die. I'm thrilled as well as sad. In the meantime, Meredith ultimately chats with Nick about her job's future, as well as the interns' situation, giving them another chance. Debbie Allen's character, Catherine Fox, was upset that she chose to drastically scale back her present research on Alzheimer's disease. arguing that the medical world is searching in the wrong places for a solution. Nick is informed by Meredith that she has two options. She may give up completely or keep working hard and stay in Boston. When it comes to Catherine, Meredith gives the impression that she is caving in and following the rules. Rather, Meredith gives Amelia everything of her findings and urges her to carry on the cause. She has to keep it a secret, though. In relation to secrets, I'm pleased to inform you that Richard refrained from consuming the gin and tonic he had in his possession when we last saw him. And Millen makes the decision to tell Quan a falsehood, acting as though her outpouring of love and hate for him was just the result of adrenaline. Quan concurs that it should cease so that strange things don't happen. Nick sends a paper to each intern, just as I'm wagering that things turn crazy in a future episode. Nick takes off the Band-Aid and assures them that they are not fired once everyone has taken their seats in the Room of Doom. He won't be running the program, but it will still continue. Who then will teach these lowly members of the surgical aristocracy? I adore Nick's youthful grin as he opens the double doors to reveal an icy Miranda Bailey. Folks, Heaterfod guidelines, make a note of them.